shocking confession from BTS Jungkook has shaken the hearts of many. In what was supposed to be a routine training session, the atmosphere took a dramatic turn when Jungkook suddenly stopped and revealed something he had been keeping inside. His words not only made Jimin cry, but also touched the heart of Bang Si Hyuk, who heard him. What exactly did Jungkook say to make everyone fall silent and emotional? This event occurred amidst the routine of military training, where discipline and physical endurance are the main focus. However, that day, something was different. Jungkook, usually known for his boundless energy and unwavering spirit, seemed quieter. Even Jimin, his best friend who could always read Jungkook's mood, began to sense that something was wrong. Since morning, Jungkook's facial expression had changed. He was more quiet, not as cheerful as usual. This raised a big question mark, especially since he had taken a sudden leave a few days earlier. Was there something bothering him? Was it related to life after their military service was finished? As the martial arts training session began, all the soldiers gathered to witness a duel between these two legendary idols. They expected to see a spirited fight as usual. However, the opposite happened. Jungkook, who had just prepared to take a defensive position, suddenly stopped. He gasped for breath, his eyes filled with tears. Unexpectedly, he walked towards Jimin and hugged him tightly. The entire training field fell silent. No one expected Jungkook to show such emotion in front of so many people. The usually strict instructors were also speechless, as if they understood that this was not just an ordinary moment. Soft sobs could be heard from some corners, and Jimin, who was initially confused, began to realize that his best friend was carrying a heavy burden that he had been keeping to himself. "I just feel time is going by too fast," Jungkook said in a trembling voice. This statement shocked everyone, especially Jimin. Since they joined the military service, every day felt tiring but also full of togetherness. Now, with their service nearing its end, Jungkook began to feel the fear he had been hiding. Jimin looked at Jungkook with empathy. He knew very well that for his best friend, returning to the outside world was not easy. As a global idol, the hopes and pressures awaiting Jungkook out there were far greater than just completing military service. "We're almost at the finish line, you're not alone," Jimin said softly, patting Jungkook's shoulder to calm him down. The moment was so emotional that it touched everyone who witnessed it. No one spoke, but everyone knew that this was a moment of honesty from Jungkook, someone who always seemed strong, but also had deep fears. After the training ended, the atmosphere in the barracks felt different. Jungkook was more quiet, and Jimin, who usually always cheered his best friend up, this time chose to approach him with more caution. "You know, you can talk to me anytime, right?" Jimin finally asked. Jungkook sighed softly before answering, "I don't know where to start." From that answer, Jimin realized that Jungkook's fear was not about military training, but about life afterwards. After almost 2 years of living a routine far from the spotlight, he began to doubt whether he could return to his old self. Would the outside world still accept him? Would he still be able to meet the high expectations of his fans? Jimin looked at him with confidence and said, "We all change, Jungkook. That's part of life. But you won't face this alone. You have me, we have the members, and we have ARMY. No one expects you to come back perfect. They just want you to come back as yourself." The next day, another surprise came. Jungkook and Jimin were called to the military administration room to receive a formal letter from Bang Si Hyuk. As a figure who was like a father to them, Bang Si Hyuk wrote a letter that was so touching. "I know this isn't an easy time for you. The closer it gets to the end, the more questions and fears arise. But remember this, the world isn't waiting for you with demands. The world is waiting for you with love. No one expects you to come back perfect. They just want you to come back as yourself. I look forward to the day when we meet again without pressure, just with pride." As he read the letter, Jungkook couldn't hold back his tears. Jimin, who was standing beside him, hugged him lovingly and said with a smile, "Even Bang PD believes in you. Now it's your turn to believe in yourself." That moment not only touched Jungkook's heart, but also touched millions of ARMY around the world. The story quickly spread on social media with the hashtag #WeBelieveInJungkook, which became trending on various platforms. Fans flooded social media with messages of support. Jungkook, you're not alone. We're waiting for you to come back with a smile, not with pressure. This support was not just for Jungkook, but also for the entire BTS who had given so much to ARMY without ever complaining. In the months to come, Jungkook and Jimin will return to a world full of expectations, but this time they will not face it alone. They will return with a stronger spirit, with the belief that they don't need to be perfect to be loved. However, behind this emotional moment, a big question arises. Are we truly witnessing Jungkook's genuine honesty, or is this part of a narrative deliberately built by the media to evoke fans' emotions? How often do we get swept up in heartwarming stories without really questioning their truth? In this digital age, information travels faster than ever before. A short video on TikTok or a post on Twitter can change the perception of millions in a matter of minutes. We all want to believe that Jungkook and Jimin experienced such a touching moment amidst military training, but do we have enough evidence to ensure that this event happened exactly as reported? There are several factors to consider before we accept this news as fact. First, the source of this information comes from various social media platforms, which often lack clear verification. Second, there has been no official statement from Jungkook, Jimin, or the military confirming that this incident actually occurred. Third, in the entertainment world, it is not uncommon for emotional stories to be used to build a stronger connection between artists and fans. This raises another question. How big is the media's role in shaping our emotions and perceptions of idols like Jungkook? If we look back at BTS' journey, they have experienced many moments that have gone viral and touched the hearts of millions around the world. But are we as fans always critical in responding to every piece of information that emerges? Or are we prone to believing immediately without questioning further? Let's try to look at it from another perspective. If this moment really happened, then it is real proof that Jungkook, despite being known as one of the most successful artists in the world, remains a human being who has fears and worries. If true, this shows that the pressure he feels doesn't just come from military training, but also from the ever-increasing expectations placed on him. But if this is just a narrative deliberately built to evoke fans' emotions, then we need to question who actually benefits from the spread of this story. Is the media just looking for clicks and attention? Is the entertainment industry using emotional stories to maintain fans' attachment to their artists? In a world full of information manipulation, we must always be vigilant. The story of Jungkook and Jimin could be a reflection of a larger reality. How the media shapes the way we see idols, how our emotions are controlled by the narratives that circulate, and how we as news consumers must be more careful in filtering information. So, what do you think? Do you believe that this event really happened, or is it just a media strategy to maintain public attention on BTS? How can we ensure that the news we read is the truth, not just a story created to touch our emotions?